human, we think we are apart, but actually we are more connected than we think, basically, So helping others is helping yourself, and helping yourself is helping other. But it's important to try to learn to help yourself before. Otherwise, you don't know what you are giving to people.
Hola familia afro-cubana, I'm Alfredo Garcia, the host of Essence of Afrocuban. And today I have a very special guest, a dear friend of mine, Billy Homeki. Many of you might know him, but in case that you don't, let me introduce him to you. He is an engineer and doctor in chemical engineering and biotechnology. He's a full scientist which approaches things with experiments and proof and not belief. He has gone through a few of initiations as well as the Ifa initiation, giving him the status of bonon. So please guys, help me in welcoming my dear friend Billy. Hey friend, hey my brother, how you doing?
Thank you, Mia Lagba. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks to the God and thanks to the ancestors.
Ashe. So my dear friend, the first thing I want to get into it is for people to understand and to get to know who Billy is. Who is Billy?
Who really is? This is a really, let's say, vast question because who we are. At least we know what we do, what is our name, but who we are, I think this is really complicated. And actually, we are on the way to know who we really are. But let's say that for what is my name? So as you say, I'm Billy. I'm a scientist. I'm born in Benin, born and raised in Benin. I come to France 15 years ago now. So I was totally, let's say, full grown when I come to France. Because I even did the first part of my university of Benin. So, I spent basically 24 years in Benin before coming to France. And yeah, I'm a passionate. I love life, and I like to experiment things. And I'm not a believer, as I used to say. I think this is an important point. Because of all we will discuss now. I'm not a believer. I'm someone, whether on proof or experiment, because history, you know how it works. So yeah, so I'm someone, and let's say that my my main goal is to understand who we are as human, what is the universe, how is it done. So yeah, totally. Let's say I think to just sum it up, I will define myself as a researcher, of the truth.
Researcher of the truth. This is the philosophy of Ifa. That's what we do, This is the approach that we are as practitioners. That's our aim, not to find out who we are in this universe,
Totally.
and to help also others to discover who they are, which is important.
That's it. Yeah, helping also, human, we think we are apart, but actually we are more connected than we think, basically, So helping others is helping yourself, and helping yourself is helping other. But it's important to try to learn to help yourself before. Otherwise, you don't know what you are giving to people. Like when you cook, you taste your cook. Oh, okay, it is enough salt. Because if you don't taste and you give to people and it is too much salt or chili, this is not good for them. So it's really important to make the step, to start the journey of knowing well yourself. Then when you know yourself, you know more people, because sometimes we are connected somehow,
Ashe. I like that very much. Know yourself before you get to know others and before you get to help others. Now, talking about that, because I didn't mention that you are also a teacher and a DJ.
Yeah.
So now I want to take this topic as a dancer.
Yeah.
Because in our environment, many of us, we get to, we discover dance and then we decide to teach it.
Yeah.
right? Now, you saying that first you have to know yourself, help yourself, so you can then help others. How important for you is to get to know the foundations of each dance before you get to teach it.
Okay. So now this is a question we will have, let's say, many ramifications for the answers. And since the answer might implicate some, let's say, some insights, so just give me 1 second to to greet and, to give some other. Okay. So first of all, I want to Javalu we say in our language, but I want to express my full gratitude, to all the people who helped me to become what I am. I want to express gratitude to all of them, to the Bokonon that initiated me, to the first of all the Bokonos, the Rumila. I want to the gratitude, Balu Boye Bokiche, and also all the Bokono who were in the lineage, So for people who know it is like I'm talking about Jisa, Gongon, Ato, Abikobi. So I want to, and all the Bokonos, I will not say that name because it's a private, and all the people who allow me to advance on the way of knowledge. Okay, now that this is all good. I think,
Yeah,
and
again, gratitude.
I asked them to be with me and yeah, to inspire me for all the answer that I will be giving, and if I ever say something that is not totally correct, if an answer is partial, may they inspire me and forgive me because I am just a young lecturer, I am just a lecturer. I'm just a student, basically.
That's it.
Okay. Um. So dance. The stuff is, of course, dance is something that we approach like you are university, so you get to start dancing, so it is fun because it is something that make people feel good, basically. But why dance make people feel good is because somehow dance has something that is not just in appearance. At least it is about your connecting to yourself because you need to understand the way you move and the way you feel the moves you are doing. And it is when you feel those moves you are doing that you are enjoying your dance, basically, you see. But it is not only within in yourself, it is also something with the elements attached within your environment, I think we will come to it later, but there are many reasons for which when you are dancing, for example, Afro origin dances, you will see that your body temperature will just raise up. I think there is a reason for all that. So yeah, my approach to dance, I think it's of course it's for fun. It's for fun, okay. But I think that what is really important for people should understand what are the basics. And when I mean basic, I'm talking about the essence, like why this step is done like this. Because when you get the reason of this step, you I mean you access to another layer of the dance, and then when you are dancing, you are not only dancing for you. It's kind of you are dancing the universe somehow, and then yeah, this journey of dance I've started like everybody, but like okay, let's have fun, and then you start learning about dances. You just mentioned kizomba, which is a scene in which I'm also quite involved, basically. But when I start learning about kizomba and understand that kizomba come from samba and that samba was a music, it was a revolutionary music, basically. It's like during the war, samba it was the only way that Angolan people at the end of the day after fighting each other for many reasons as brother, they gather together and they will be singing those songs, to get into feelings and to say, okay, maybe we are fighting for interest of, I don't know, some rich people or whatever, but this is what we are. And for some other people, it was the only way they have to express. So when you understand all those days and and you are doing your dance, you feel it differently. And it's also important as a teacher to tell to students, okay, guys, we are having fun on this dance, but you must know that it is a dance that you should feel for your soul, because the person that make this dance exist, person who were fighting for reason, who were crying because they lost their child. And then after, they are having fun because they were saying, okay, I lost my children, but life is still there, so I need to celebrate life. So it's important to understand all those complex system. Of course, I think we will dig more in for the Afro-Cuban part, because of, as they say, man, I come to salsa, then I have to discover Afro-Cuban, which is a a whole which is a whole chapter. And then, yeah, for me it's essential for teachers to know the essence, not the essence. And when you know the essence, actually you embody the basics, and basics are life, basically. So yeah, this is my, let's say, opinion about those kind of topics.
Thank you. That's why I call this podcast Essence of Afrocuban, because we have to find again our essence, the who we are. I think that the environment, the social environment, is taking us so away from this essence of who we are, thinking that the external appearance is more important than finding yourself, finding your soul, finding, as we call it in Yoruba, your iponri, this connection with the iponri, which is the essence of who you are. This is very important, and I'm connecting very much with you, my brother, because I mean, you speak my language. Many people don't know the background and what we are practicing behind our dances, but we're gonna get into it. So I'm very happy about it. Now you mentioned salsa. You mentioned Afro-Cuban. Let's get into that. When did you discover salsa?
Okay, so of course, salsa is something that I discovered when I was when I was a child. Because I was listening to my parents. They were actually the Fania All Stars. They made a show in Cotonou. Actually, like way before,
Wow.
you see. So yeah. I mean, I discovered salsa because I was listening, because my parents were playing. But you have to know, before coming to France, I totally hate salsa. Yeah, I think this one will be a big surprise for many people. No,
Okay.
it was for a simple reason. In Benin, salsa is mainly danced by old people. So of course, I mean, you are young, you don't want to keep dancing with, I don't know, with just your grandparents, with
Sure.
just your old aunt, or your uncle.
Sure.
It was not seen as something, it's like you're not in the vibe. You know what I mean? We were more R&B, hip hop, you see.
Yes.
Then salsa was, and actually they were dancing really slow. It is not this kind of, let's say, salsa that we dance here now. So
Nowadays.
that is why I was not really interested. Then when I come to France, and I started in 2010, when I come, no, 2011, 11. Then I was like, oh, actually, it's quite nice. There are young people around. You come, you want to meet people, you want to meet girls. You know how it works.
Yeah.
So this is how I started salsa in 2011 in Nancy, where I was doing at the university. And I take the opportunity to thank my teacher, Marie-Georges Hans Al Marie-Jo. And because she were able to give me the envy, to push you this dance of salsa. And then from salsa, Afro-Cuban. And okay, now this is interesting. Then there was this guy doing the parties in Nancy,
Uh-huh.
doing DJ, Hassan.
We know him. Yes.
Yeah. And then I come to, I don't remember, because I mean, we were seeing each other, but we were not acting, like we were seeing each other greeting, but not talking for almost 2 years. I mean, the way we are close, people are surprised, but this guy, I mean, we were just looking each other from far, but saying hi, being respectful to each other. And one day he just told me, hey, the way I see you love this dance, Nancy is too small for you. Let me bring you. I'm going to a party in Strasbourg. I will bring you.
Okay.
Then he was going to Strasbourg, and I followed him. And there was this party, and then I met Sambeko,
Yep.
and yeah. And then I think few months after there were Rumba y Candela. This was there was
Yes.
Rumba y Candela, and actually, but I was not really okay. I mean, they told me, oh, Rumba y Candela. I say, okay, maybe no. I will see. I will see if I'm interested. And I was really looking from far. And then I mean I'm taking the lead just to to tell the story, the full
Mm,
story. And then in Nancy we did an event like this. It was the baby before this rainbow, let's say, form now. And then there were many teachers coming, to Cuban teacher that were there to teach. And then there was uh, a teacher doing a class. It was the final class of the whole weekend, actually. It was a Sunday, it was Palo.
e.
Then I saw this teacher and he just came and, he said, okay, I was like, okay, cool, let's see. And then the class started and I was seeing some steps and I was like, wait, this guy is doing Egungun right. But he said it is Palo. Before I was doing the difference, but now I can tell you, I can understand why I'm seeing those similarities, which we will talk after about, because Palo is Congo, Egungun is Nigeria and Benin, basically, and it's like different stuff, but actually, I mean, there is a link. There is why. I mean, I now understand why I saw those stuff, and of course, this this teacher was you. And then
Oh.
it was there's some this in this small club and I remember I came to you and I say, this stuff that you did, it's Palo, but for me it's like, I don't know, for me it is like, do you know Egungun? And you look at me and you say yes, and then Hassan came to see, oh, Alfredo, you need to talk with him. And I was like, okay. So I think here this is some point. So and honestly, I mean, because I was seeing Afro-Cuban, and I was seeing, I mean, some video just like this, but I never feel like there could be a connection with me, because I don't see many video. I was just seeing moves. I did not know that actually Afro-Cuban was that connected to our tradition, basically. And it is when I saw this Palo step. I mean, this was the moment I was like, okay, wait, wait, wait. This stuff I know, this stuff is talking to me basically, because I'm in Benin, yeah. Like Benin, I mean, of course,
Sure.
the cradle of vodou, so vodou is everywhere. So I mean, so this is how the transition was made from salsa, let's say, to
Wow.
Afro-Cuban. Yeah, yeah. So thank you for being the help. But the first step, there is a second step, huh? But we will talk the second step right
Yes,
after.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that is how it works.
Wow.
So yeah, yes. And so after Rumba y Candela, so I would say basically for me, this journey is thanks to, like chronologically, thanks to Hassan, thanks to Sambeko, and thanks to you, basically. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, we go way back. Rumbe Candela. For me, that's is and was and will always be the best festival
Totally,
in Europe.
totally,
It's
totally.
really a pity that they
Yeah, yeah,
finished it,
yeah,
but really the
yeah.
best one.
It was something.
Wow, my friend. Yeah, I mean, a long time ago. We go way back.
Mm. Yeah.
Wow. Now, how for you? How was it for you when you saw Palo and you got connected to it? But how was it for you when you went to the first Arara class and you
Ah,
started? You heard the name of Fodun and then
mm,
Afra and Aflequete. How was it for you, this encounter?
the rhythm. Okay, so first, you know that often it is not that really common to have Arara classes. You have more Yoruba classes basically. So let's say when I went to my first Arara class, I was already like quite used to the Yoruba
Okay.
to the Yoruba classes basically. I mean, like let's say to the Yoruba seed basically because and I was already starting doing the equivalence because of course um when you go to a first Yoruba class and they tell you Elegua,
Hello.
you know, they tell you Chango, you say, oh, okay. So you say, okay, so okay, it seems like those people really keep the tradition, right? So I'm start digging, and then I read on the religion in Cuba, and I saw that actually, of course, I mean, Yoruba was the biggest part, but there was also a kind of part of Arara that was kept. So when I had the first Arara class, I was already into the process of getting more into the Yoruba, and then since I was already a bit inside, um, there is something I really like actually when I go to Yoruba classes, let's say Afro-Cuban classes. It is what the teacher says at the beginning. When the teacher is introducing the vodou or the orisha, and when he's about to do a step, how he introduced the step, you know. Basically, this is something I know more. I mean, many people are more about, as you say, doing combination, all those things, you know. And I mean, I come to Yoruba classes for myself because, and of course, you know, I was a student far from my country. So it was for me an opportunity to kind of connect a bit to my land because, you know, Europe is not that easy, you know, when you are new, you know, I mean, you have new references, you need to make your way out, and so Europe is not that really easy, basically. So yeah, for me, Yoruba class, Afro-Cuban classes were an opportunity to get a bit back into my childhood, and I mean, I feel the energy of my motherland, basically. So I really give a lot of importance to what the teacher is saying, you know, about the steps, about what should be done, all those things. So when I was going to my first Arara class, I came with a lot of expectation.
Oh, oh.
So, I mean, not expectation, but I was really curious to see, okay, of course, uh, because just a small parenthesis, I mean, um, basically, on the West Coast, this West Coast part of Benin, Nigeria, you have two big, let's say, uh, groups, but actually it's not groups, but groups, let's say. You have the Ajatado, and just to say it is from Ajatado that you have the the princes that come from Ajatado. They are the one to build the kingdom of Dahomey. So Ajatado is kind of the the original region of of the form of those. They are all Aja basically, you know. And then you have the other extreme part, which is the Yoruba, that some people call it Tonago. And then basically in Benin you have the mix of the two, you know, because actually we are really similar basically. And me basically I am from Aja. I am from Ajah, so let's say I'm from this side, you know. And and then yeah, for the Arara, I was like, okay, uh, I really know more Arara than Yoruba, even if I know Yoruba because we are doing more or less the same thing. But Arara is, you know, is what I really know basically. So I was curious to see how it will be introduced, but not to judge, just to see uh, what happened, like after those ancients, you know, those ancestors who were taken from their land to the slavery, just to see how they managed to make it survive. So I was more interested in the process to see, okay, how do they manage to keep the tradition and how they are doing their things. And it was a really good class, let's say. I mean, really super, basically. And I think with no surprise because my first Arara class was with Leonardo Moya. So, you know,
Oh, Respect. Sure.
So I think that was a really a chance and a really good beginning for me, basically.
Yes.
And so yeah, and so I was really grateful. I was like, okay, really. I mean, you just feel gratitude, because you see someone who knows a lot about yourself. Because I have to say, at that moment, uh, I was learning many things actually during those classes, even when they were telling the stories. Because since I was born in Benin, and the, there are those kind of ceremonies which were just part of the environment, well, basically, So, okay, they will say, you need to go to village to do this, but you just go like once a year, you do it, but you don't even care to understand why you are doing this, and you were just doing like the strict minimum. Like, they say, okay, you like each year you have to do all this stuff to all the ancestors, that you should pray for the ancestors. So, okay, you go, people, elders are doing the stuff, you just like this, okay, just wanted to finish so that I will go back to city and, and
Sure.
see my friends, basically. So I was not that really involved. So yeah, I have to recognize actually I learned a lot from the Afro-Cuban teachers, like from the Cuban teachers, basically, yeah. And because they were the Pataki and all those description, and of course, with the time, and after a few time now that I'm more involved, they say things that are not totally, let's say, I will not say correct, but they are say
Yeah.
things which are through their lenses, which is not the whole reality.
Yeah. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, my friend. Now talking about before we get into really deeper, not into deep because we're going deep, but before we go deeper, for people who don't know, because in
mhm.
Cuba we kept or we developed the tradition of Arara, which is, I know it's wrong to say that the Arara is a
Yeah, it's
tradition,
wrong.
but in Cuba we call it Arara tradition. So where does the Arara name comes from?
Okay. So I will really make it quite briefly. So you have, as I told you, the origin of everything is actually in the region called Ajatado. Aja, which is at the west side, let's say, of Benin, like close to the border with Togo, basically. So you have the prince of I mean, the story is long, but I will just make the small part. So you have the prince of Tado, then the prince of Ajatado, who has to leave Ajatado, basically. So he left Ajatado, and then when he left Ajatado, he went to a city called Alada,
Nada.
actually. So it is Alada. Spanish people will say ayada because when
Ayada.
people when Spanish people see 2L, they say yeah. So I think it is this ayada, then that become Arara. And to know, so the when that prince of Tado come to settle in Alada, he has three sons. And the three sons, they had a kind, let's say, fight to decide who will be the next king of Alada, basically. So when they make the fight, so you have one son who won the battle, so that he stay there in Alada. The second, one of the second who lost, he went to Abome, and it is in Abome that he came and he conquered Abome, and then from there Abome become Dahomey, because actually basically the king of Abome, let's say, was someone called Dan, actually. But this is also another story, but that it's called down. And then he said that when he killed him, he opened his belly, and put the center of the kingdom from his belly. And belly is home, which means Dahomey, which after people say Dahomey, 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 but it is Dahomey, which means inside the
Inside
womb, yeah, inside the belly of Dan, basically. And then you have the third son who went to the south to Porto Novo, that people call also Hogbonu. And actually, this third son is the one to create, the zangbeto, this stuff, conic
Yes.
straw. Because during the journey, he needed to find a way so that animals and people will not attack him when he will be walking in the forest. So then he made this conic stuff, put it with straw, and he was kind of moving inside, And when animal or something were coming, he was making weird sound. They were getting afraid. Then this is the way he could travel safely from Alada to Porto Novo, basically. So this is how. So yeah, and so Alada then become Arara because Alada, Ayada, Arara. And just to make a small distinction, so since let's say Arara, which let's say Arara actually is real vodou, then people ask, then what is vodou as is called in Cuba? So
Yes.
today, what is called in Cuba as vodou actually is the Haitian vodou.
This is the
And
next
you
one.
have to, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And you have to know that actually Haitians are people from Benin.
Before you get there, because
Ah,
yes, I want to get there, but first I wanted to people. I know the Cubans, many of us we don't speak English, so we won't be getting this message. But many of the people who are listening and viewing this video will be sharing, this information with Cubans, which is important because unfortunately, in Cuba, as an island, first of all, enclosed, for us, the way how I grew up was with this distinction of, or this belief that the tradition, the Yoruba tradition, the Arara tradition, the Abakwa, the Palo tradition was kept in our country, that in Africa, people were not practicing their religions. This is our belief. This is, we strongly, really, every ancestor, every person, every elder will tell you the tradition is Cuba. This is our tradition. In Africa, they are Christians, which is part is true, and they are not practicing their religions. So that's why to me it's very important. The moment I remember when I met you, and I asked you, "Oh, you're from Benin?" My excitement went. I don't know if you remember that. I was very
yeah, I remember.
excited. Remember that to get to meet somebody from Benin, which is also one of the culture that is very hidden in Cuba. If you're not from Matanzas, you don't get to hear about Arara at all.
Okay.
So this is a belief that we Cubans we have to break, thinking that Ifa, Santeria, no Santeria, no, that Ifa, the vodou, the Congos, that this tradition is still alive in Africa. Just because we kept it in our way, connected with the Spanish, it doesn't mean that in Africa disappeared. It's not vanished. So we have to, be conscious and aware of that you guys, you're still keeping the tradition alive. But before we get
And
there,
we haven't evolved.
yes,
I
and
mean,
you have
not
evolved.
not. I mean, not only keeping. We haven't developed it and evolve it because today, even if you say the way we will talk about IFA for sure, I think in another videos, but actually it was even many evolvement in it, so that even now you have a kind of IFA that you can make the Yoruba way and the Fon Aja way,
Ah.
and also in the way to do the sacrifices. It is not Ifa is Ifa. There is no difference, but it's just that it is a science. I mean, we come to it because when I
Yes.
start talking about Ifa, it is a science. And as all science, it is evolving basically. So this part, no, we kept it. But I can understand what they're saying. Why? Because, of course, there was the Christian, the colonialism and all those things. So at some point, it was not well seen to say that you are practicing voodoo or whatever. People will say you are a sorcerer, like a witch and something, because people were making all those things. But the stuff is, you have in everything like related to all those traditions, you have the cultural part and the cult part. So the cult is when you really go inside it and worship. But even for people who are Christians, they keep the cultural part. This is why,
Caché.
we have the day of vodou where everybody stay home, like officially, and all the countries celebrating vodou. It is a national feast. So even if you say, okay, I'm going to church, I'm going to the mosque or whatever, the culture, the cultural part is inside you.
It's
And
there.
to be honest, even the cult, because when people have problem and they go to hospital, it's complicated. They go to church, it's complicated. You will see them in the weekend, in the night, because they don't want people to see them in the night
Yes.
in
Yes.
the village doing things. So actually,
Yes.
of course, they have to hide. I see, and also I understand something that totally respect is that in Cuba, you have developed something which which is a kind of mix,
Our
a
own thing.
syncretism of all those religions. So of course, yeah, I think a Cuban religion exists. There is a Cuban way to worship God, which take everything into account. But again, I will say it does not. It's not that really different because all those spiritual person, all those Ovalaos and all those Vodun, all those priests, the priests who were able to create, let's say, a mixed religion, which is today a Cuban religion, is because they understood what was the core, what was
Yeah.
the grain of everything. So they were able
Yes.
to know that, okay, basically, whether it is Palo, whether it is Egungun, whether it is, many other cult or whatever, actually, we are doing the same. So we can mix together our practice and have one religion. So we are
Yes.
not that different. The difference is an illusion. The only important things is to respect the tradition
Ashe. Ashe.
because
Ashe.
rites. They are rites. It is not for just for fun that they say you should do this move before. You should put in with the left hand before. You the elders, they know why they say like it. So when there is a tradition, there is a way to do. You have to follow the way to do. It is like a recipe. You have to follow the way, even if you want to evolve or do, I don't know, some new things to be, from the era. No problem. But you need to understand for what is the basic reason of this ritual. Then when you can adapt, but never, never, never you should go back from the roots because it is the roots,
Ashe.
the core, basically.
Ashe. Ashe. This is so good. This is so good. The respect, the root, keeping the roots. I love that. I mean, since I let's say I'm in my culture, I'm in my practicing these relations since very long time, but let's say in the background, I wasn't initiated into Orisha or into Ifa, into none of that. But since I started this journey, I see the importance of learning.
Mm.
How key is to learn the roots of it. And talking about the roots, you mentioned it before about the Haitian spirituality or tradition. For people I know, because I spoke to you many times
Mhm.
and I heard the story. People don't know about this whole story of Dan and the three sons and the kingdom. It's a
Mhm.
long story, you guys. So
Really long, too long
yeah,
story.
yeah, and I love it. Every time I hear it, I'm like, wow, yes. For us, because in Cuba we have the bailes haitiano, franco haitiano,
Mm.
and we call it vodou.
Mm.
But people don't know the procedence. People don't know the roots of where the Haitians got their tradition. So please, could you explain us where the Haitian tradition came from, and what are the differences between the voodoo in Haiti and how you practice it in Benin?
Okay. So, you know that during the slave trade, basically, depending from the origin, of the some people, some countries, some people, or some tribes will be located basically in a specific area, you know, because you have kind of many tracks, you know, like okay, basically people from just say I mean people from Nigeria will mostly end up, for example, in Cuba, you know, so you have this kind of destination. People from Cote d'Ivoire, for example, the Akan people, they will more end in the West Indies, you know, like in French Guyana, you know, this kind of stuff. So the Haitian people, actually, I don't know how it comes of this, but the Haitian people, Haiti was the place. This part was where most of the how to say most of the slaves taken from Benin were ending up basically. And just as a story, you know, there was this. The IC was the first nation to go for independence. You know, the first black nation to go for independence, and the general it was Toussaint Louverture, that many Haitian people know, because I mean Toussaint Louverture was the people who lead the army so that Haiti got his independence. You know, and Toussaint is born like in Haiti, but the father of Toussaint, his parents are from Alada.
Okay.
So even today, when you go to Alada, you have the big statue of Toussaint Louverture because he's from there, because his father is from there, even if himself
Okay.
was born there, you know. So just let's say kind of historical proof to say that it's not just that they are really from Benin, and also all the rites that most of the rites they do in Vodou, the language they speak, even if some of them don't know, it is Fon actually. It is the Fon language that they speak. You see, so as difference, there is no real difference between Haitian Vodou and Benin Vodou. Just that Haitian Vodou has this impact over the years because it is like in the West Indies basically, you know. So you have some tribes around, autochthon tribes that will maybe try to put something, but actually there is no difference. Like if you see the rites, the rituals, and how they do it, actually, it is the same thing. What we used to say in Benin, because Vodou is, Vodou is a wisdom religion. You know, it is for peace, basically. So you have this stuff is Haitian puppet Vodou, sorcery, you know, all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we used to say Haitian as our brother who at some point passed to the dark side. Let's say that, but it was not. I mean, basically, those guys they have knowledge of many things, or many secrets, or many things, the knowledge of power, basically. And they were getting, you know, hurt, you know, like slavery. I mean, slavery is not fun at all. So since they were getting done many bad things, at some point they find a way to, you know, to how to say, I mean, they find a way to defend themselves, or at least to make it affordable. You know, for example, when you have the stuff about the zombie, you know, that they talk about zombie, it is because at some point, yeah, it was really complicated to keep working into the plantation, you know. So they were kind of some were deciding to say, you know, to use some drugs, you know, so that they will not feel pain. Some others who don't want maybe who are kind of tired of working, they will maybe take some other people and make them their zombie. Because you know that those stuff are possible, you know, it's like I mean I'm not going to it, but for example, you know, you have this stuff of the duplication of body, you know. It is something that exists, like the King Beanzin, like the king of Dahomey, who was really resistant Beanzin, that many people know. The King Beanzin actually was was cloning some of his soldiers. I know it can sound crazy,
Okay.
but the problem with this kind of ritual is that the person who do the clone will be can do whatever he wants with the clone because he's the one to kind of
He's the
create
one
it.
reference.
Yeah, and then now those are the kind of rates that are forbidden today. like even like it's forbidden, and I think maybe few people can be able to do it again because basically they will clone you, they will take you to kill someone, and then they will come and arrest you whether you did nothing. You see? So you have those kind of problem in our society. So I mean, just to say on the track, yeah, I mean, Haitian Vodou in Benin Vodou, the roots are, let's say, mostly similar. Just that Haitian, they, I will say they do a lot of magic, basically. They do a lot of magic, and then yeah, but I mean, magic is also some part of the stuff, because you have, let's say, three level of when we're talking about power. You have three level. You have uh, uh, let's say the physical, you know, and this level will be basically when you will do when you do how to say when you do rituals, when you do things like basically when you do a bow, when you do a bow, which are basically recipes using things. Okay, I take this, I take this, I take this. You have another level which is with the verb, the incantation. So this is let's say the lower level is a bow because a bow you don't need to, you just need to know basically the recipe and then you go for it. You have the verb. For the verb, you need to get initiated because you need to your mouth or your tongue should be prepared to say things, and so that you will have the effect. So you have your tongue, which is the verb, and the third one, which is the most like, is in the thinking. Like the most dangerous one, that you will go to their house, there is nothing, there is no voodoo, there is no nothing. You will see him like this, but just with his thinking, he can. I mean, he can burn a tree. He can. I mean, just with his thinking, that's it. So the stuff is then in we develop a lot in Vodou, and I mean the philosophy and the pathways specific of Vodou is really oriented toward the verb and the thinking, basically. Of course, there is the magic, but the magic is not something in which people will, because it is, let's say, the lower state, like someone who master the verb will be stronger than someone who only knows a bow. But there is something also is that quite often a bow and the verb are connected because you will have your ebo, or maybe you will take something, and then when you take, you have to say something. So I think this is the main difference. And for the revolution, of Haiti, there was something that the ceremony of Bois Caïman, basically. Bois Caïman, la cérémonie du Bois Caïman. And actually, it was the previous day where, I mean, it was starting day before, but people used to focus on the last day before where they went to this place and they do all those rituals to gather all the energy and when to wake up basically the energy of Ogu and so that they can do the work. So yeah, it is we are all the same, whether Haitian, whether Cuban, whether Yoruba. I mean, especially the Yoruba and the Aja people. We are really. I mean, the two people are basically the same people, basically, because you will see Yoruba kings there, Aja kings there. Everything is connected.
Good. So this is very good. This is super good. The philosophy of the Benin, how people practice their religion. You're saying that there are three levels, right? And this is what we also study in IFA, as that the thinking is this alignment, this awakening of the Ori. That's the main one. This is what we are searching. This is what we're seeking. We're seeking for alignment. We're seeking for reconnecting with this essence, which is up there. There is a saying that before we come down to earth, we are in heaven, right?
Of course.
And as we are, so there is a parallel life. And then when you are born, let's say that they split. This is when you come here to earth, so your family gets happy, but your family up there gets sad. There's a story that the Ebe, they get sad because, you know, these twins, the soul, they split. And here in earth, we get happy. So, but when we die here, our family gets sad, but the Ebe family gets back to happiness, to celebration and everything. So that our goal here in planet earth is to align, is to always use this thinking, this thought of growing, of going forward. And then you mentioning that the second is the verb, is how we use the word. I mean, in the church, they say that, no, this, we always learn that the word was created by using the word, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is how everything was created. And I love, because there is an Ifa verse that you say, Ashe ori sale numi o ashe ori sale numi bobo último ba mama un bio irumu leo ba Ifa o ba o ashe ori sale numi. Which you are saying, you are asking for that everything that you say, everything that you praise, everything that you, this incantation that you say out, that goes with blessing, that goes with power. So, which is amazing. And then the physical realm, this is the environment that we are very much focused on right now. It's the physical. It's like to get the money, it's to get those puppets, it's to get the outfit, the clothes. You know, we are living in this world that the physic, the outside is so important that, you know, this thinking, using our consciousness, we are getting so far from it. And I heard once there, there was a friend of mine, a Babalawo, who said, you know, the African tradition, Ifa in general, Ifa tradition, in a few years or a few centuries, we don't know when, Ifa would be the main religion in the planet. Like everybody will practice Ifa because our philosophy is about the nature, is about reuniting, about reconnecting with this essence. So I'm very...
People are already practicing. I mean, all the people are already practicing, but they just don't know.
Yeah, right? This is exactly, my friend.
They
Yes.
just don't know because because let's say the church cannot church or even a Muslim, they cannot yet say it openly. But when you go inside those religions, of course, you will have the divination actually.
Yeah.
I mean, Ifa is the oracle, you know, and here in Europe, you had the oracle of Delphi, the oracle of Sisyphus, you know, it is oracle basically, you know. So and people use it a lot. Just to make a small precision, you know, about what you just said. When I was so the three level I was talking about just before about the power, of course, but the tradition of Benin actually is something different. You know, this is just about power, like the level of power. The tradition of Benin lays on three main things:
It's always number 3. It's so powerful.
the divination, Ifa, vodou, which is linked to the element, vodou, which is basically the channeling of an elemental force into some physical receptacle, which is vodou. So element. And the third is the cult of the ancestors. So those are the three pillars of the tradition
Ifa,
in Benin.
Vodou, and
Ifa, vodou, cult of ancestors. So whether it will be Egungun, whether it will be the Asin, whether it will be Togbizipi, which are many kind of stuff. So this is just to make it clear, you know, those are the three base of our tradition.
Because we practice Arara. Again, want to say, I have to remark that we know what the orishas are, right? Now, from the vodou context,
Yeah.
what are, because we call it vodouness. Yeah, we put the F. It's
Yeah.
interesting because we put the F, but we write it down with the V. So it's very interesting. I don't know why we call it vodoune and we write it different. So for you, if you can explain us, what is a vodoun?
Okay. So from what I've learned, vodou is
Vodoun, sorry.
right, vodou, yeah. Vodou is the channeling of an energy into a receptacle. And it is how to say, it is an elemental energy, whether it will be iron, water, fire, air, earth. So this is what is vodou. So, and that is why I often used to say vodou is not to confound with ebo, which is a recipe for a recipe to I mean, it's like how to say, you people who are really strong in those ebo are people who master the secret of the elements, master the secret of the how to, I mean, okay, fine, super. I will make it simple. So you have the three rains of living: animal, mineral, and vegetables, which are mainly we human, we are animals, basically. So those are the three rains, okay? Mastering the principle of those three rains, some people will call it like you are alchemist or whatever. So mastering the three people of the elements, this is what makes you like kind of expert in ebo, and you can do magic and all those stuff. This is the base of ebo. Okay, vodou is based on the four elements. You see, so air, earth, fire, water. So you have the four elements, vodou. You have the three rains of living, which are then the stuff linked to ebo and all those things. So it's important to not make the confusion between everything that will be ebo or whatever, fetish or I don't know, whatever, and vodou. Of course, when you have a vodou, then from your vodou, you will, because for example, I mean, you cannot be carrying your vodou, and be moving everywhere when you travel, basically, So you can have those kind of amulets, those kind of, let's say, I don't know, I don't like the word fetish, but you can have those kind of small objects which can help you to be linked to that vodou if you need. It's like, I don't know, you going out, but you have a kind of something like a radio, which helps you to be connected to your vodou, because the vodou, you cannot displace it,
As antenna.
As antenna, that's it.
As
You got it. It is antenna, basically. And so this is the, I mean, so vodou is channeling of elemental energy, elemental force into a receptacle. Simple. And in Benin, we have as in many spiritualities, we have 10 main family of vodou. 10. There are 10, you have Mau, which is the
You mentioned that place, yes.
Mau Segbolisa, let's say. Mau Segbolisa, you have Boko Legba, you have so Legba, you have Minona, which is the matricial energy. Then you have, so this is the triad, superior triad. The superior triad, you have the four main elements: Hebioso, Tohosu, Dan, Sakbata. And then you have the three living, which are Ogun, Rojo. Rojo is Ibei. And you have Torquillo. Torquillo is all the ancestor cults, whether it is Egungun, Kluito, and all those stuff, basically. So this makes the 10 decade, which is more or less like a 10 Sephirot of the Kabbalah, but this is another subject.
Yes. It is so easy. I mean, I'm so proud that I got to know you, my friend. Really, brother.
The pleasure is shared.
And yeah, I'm happy that we're doing this, because I mean, my aim is to educate Me, my first of all,
Me
myself,
too. I'm educating myself. Yeah.
and the people who I have been teaching throughout the year, because
Mm.
I've always been telling them, no, the Arara, they were farmers. That's all we say. They were farmers planting seeds, and it's not true.
No, no, not
No, there
true. They
is
were not even
much.
farmers. No, no, no. The people who the men, of course, they have many lands. They have many lands, but one of their really big skill actually was the blacksmith.
Good.
This was that is why they were good farmers basically because they were able to make many instruments by blacksmithing, who was helping them to farm easily. You see, so and
Yeah.
I mean, you see, we will make the story another time, but you know, they were.
No,
They
this is
actually
as I said, guys.
yeah.
This is gonna be we're gonna have a second chapter. We're gonna have a second round, second episode because this is long. But you know, before we finish, I don't want to finish yet. At the beginning, we were talking about bokonon.
Mhm.
And I introduced you as a bokonon. You were mentioning your ancestors and all of that,
Mhm.
but many people don't know this term of bokonon. So could you
Mhm.
please explain that to them? To explain it.
Okay. So, Bokono is the equivalent in our language of what people know as Babalao.
Ashe.
No. Okay. Now, it's important to explain the different level. Then, of course, I will talk to Ifa. And Bokono is a status that you got after getting the initiation of Ifa. Now, initiation of Ifa. So the topic is not Ifa. We will just talk in how it works. Then it's another subject. So actually, Ifa is something that normally should be started even the first, like when the pregnancy has 3 months. You need normally to do a consultation to see, okay, how, because it is only from that period that you know that, okay, the pregnancy will evolve, because before 3 months, you know, it can just go down. And so you need to do a first consultation to see, okay, how the pregnancy will go, and then you will take the disposition. Then when the baby are born, and this part, many people don't pay attention to it, or many people, I mean, don't know. Of course, the traditionalist and the priest, they know, but many people don't know and do that. When the baby is born, actually, you can take Ifa to your baby, like then when the child is born. But this one, you will have only one a nutshell. It is nutshell, right? How you, yeah, a nutshell, yeah. Only one nutshell. You, after that, when you start growing, there is something that they call, you will take Ifa, but one hand. One hand, you take Ifa one hand. And then after one hand, it is like you worship Ifa. You say, okay, I understand that Ifa, I worship Ifa. It's like, for real, you don't worship Ifa, but yeah. But you say that, okay, I understand Ifa and I'm getting in alignment with this kind of practice and energy. So this is when you take Ifa, we call it one hand, basically, you know?
What we call it the hand of Ifa.
Ah, okay. That's it.
Yes. Manorula.
Yeah. And then right after, when you want to decide to go, there is the what is we call and big initiation of IFA. This one kind of IFA initiation is something that you do like in 4 hours. It's okay, you know, it's just half a day.
Stay there. We don't go
Ah,
to Ifa initiation yet. Stay there. This is very important. So you're saying after after the 3 months you go for consultation, and then you get
if you
the
want.
if you want, but then you get a hand of Ifa. We call it in Cuba, one hand. My question, because in Cuba, the hand of Ifa means, or many people, I mean, you hear in the salsa environment, many people, they think because we teachers, we Cuban teachers, we praise that, we sold that to find out about your guardian angel, about your
Mm-hmm.
Orisha,
Mm-hmm.
you have to receive the hand of Ifa. Yeah, this is
Okay.
This is how we do it. You go through the a 3-day ceremony, and they will tell you the sign that you came. You know, when you came down to earth, you got a sign, and then they will tell you the Orisha that decided in heaven to come here and protect you. Do you have such a ceremony in Benin?
Okay, okay. So you do it after, so 3 days.
It's a 3 days. We have the first day
3 days.
for the ceremony, second day you're resting, and the third day is for the ita, where they
For
give
the
you if ita.
okay.
So they give you the what we call the warriors, Eshu, Ogun, Oshosi, and Osu. They will give you the bracelet of Orumila and the chain, plus a receptacle. Either if you're a man, they will give you a hand of Ifa, some the Ikines.
The
And if
18th,
you are
yeah.
a lady, they will give you 1 or 2. That depends. But it's
Oh,
about finding out what people they call Orisha, your guardian angel.
okay. Because of course, I mean, we are learning. As I said, I'm a researcher. I'm just a student. Huh? So, so this means that the last day is not related to Ifa directly.
Well, the last day, this is
Because
when, no, it is like this. The third day, this is when you sit. Let's say the second day is for you to meditate, to ponder about about what happened the previous day, the first day. And then on the third day, you sit down with Babalawos, and then we make a consultation. This is when the dafa, when the big ceremony, let's say, happens.
Okay.
They have the consultation. They find out about your Odu. They
Okay, yeah. So
give you
your Odu is on the third
it's
day.
on that day. Yes.
And so basically, so you come, so you got your Odu the third day, and right after they tell you what are your deities, what are your rituals, and then it's over.
Yes.
So and then it's over. You don't do anything the following day again.
Unfortunately, in Cuba, so far stays there. You get that 3 days,
Okay.
and then you are out. You are on your
Okay.
own.
So basically, if I will resume, I mean, if I understand really well, so the first day it will introduce you to explain like, okay, this is Orichas. I mean, it is kind of the first day is kind of learning, right?
No, the first day, I know. I mean, we're not going to say much because many people
But
are not
of
initiated
course, we
here.
cannot. But just
Yeah,
to
but
say, yeah.
the first day, this is the day when is the sacrifice is happening.
Okay.
You know, all the animals, and they give you all this beverage, things to drink, to
Okay, okay, okay.
clean. It's this cleansing day.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, but I think it's interesting that I will go forward into the all the steps because maybe we don't have the same equivalence in word, like we don't have the same hierarchy. You see what I mean? Because Bokono is a kind of in Bokono, you have now level of Bokono. This is what is important to know. So, and I mean in Benin, if to get your Odu, so to get your sign, so to get to the Ifa with one hand, is something that you do like in the afternoon. It is like, I mean, it is half a day basically that you do it. Okay? And then what will be interesting is to say then what are the 3 kind of relationship that you will have with Ifa, basically. So first, some people go to Ifa to consultation. You come, you have a specific question, specific problem. You go to Ifa, and then Ifa say, okay, relating to your problem, this is what you should do. So consultation. Second is when you take Ifa one hand, which is to get your Odu, basically. Then the third level, then now that I'm saying, is when you go to what we call the sacred forest. And this is where you got the Ifa two hand, and this is where you got initiated as a Bokono. That's it. And then after the initiation of the 2 hands of the sacred forest, you become Bokono, basically. And that initiation actually, okay, of course, life, technology, evolution, so you can have some change, basically. So basically, it is 3 days as well. But it is 3 days.
But it's divided.
3 days.
I see.
It is 3 days. I mean, it depends on how doing. Some people who kind of do it, let's say in the city, kind of, they can be just going, let's say, in the afternoon, in the night, in the night, in the night, and they can make it on 1 week. Like basically, it depends on your availabilities. It's like now people making in a way that when even if you are not really available, they can afford. So let's say Monday, you will spend half a day. Tuesday, you will go to the night and spend the night at the Bokono's place. Thursday, they will say, okay, tonight we go to the forest, and then you can do whatever you want during the day. But back then, when you come, there are those 3 days that you do the initiation. Okay? You have to wait till minimum 16 days where you stay at this place at the temple again. And then after those 16 days, you do again two days of rituals to kind of close all the things. Now, why? Because, back then people were going, I mean, Ifa is not that, it's not something that actually, now, okay, all people go to it, but before people give you the initiation of Ifa, you need to prove it. It's not something that was given quite easily, let's say. And so when people were coming to Ifa, it was because they were facing a struggle in life, like a real problem in life. Because what happened often, like in Benin, people go to consultation and they would relating to a problem. The Odu that come can say, okay, just make the sacrifice and it's okay. But some Odu come and say, my friend, even the sacrifice will not be enough. You need to have the full protection of Urumila, of Ifa all the time. Otherwise, it will be complicated for you. So some people got the recommendation for initiation after consultation, maybe relative to their problem, or maybe because they were kind of they were kind of promised to Ifa. Me, for example, since I was in the belly, I already asked for Ifa since I was I was not even born, basically. Like they did the consultation of my belly when my mother was pregnant, and this guy say you need to take Ifa, otherwise it will be complicated. You see, basically. So you have many. But now, why they were keeping you for these 16 days still at the temple? Because since you are there for to solve a problem, and you are not, initiation is not totally complete yet, they cannot release you to the outside world. Otherwise, I don't know, the spirits
You
or
would
the
get,
energy.
yes.
I mean, people who are after you, they can get rid of you. So
Yes,
that is why
exactly.
even in the initiation, often when you start the initiation, there we normally you from there you receive the protection of the Bokono who is initiating you. So by the time he is doing your initiation, he must care about you being under his protection, because when something is after you and you decide that you want to solve it, that thing after you is aware, whether it is secret society, people, or spirits somewhere. They know that this guy is trying to get out.
Yeah.
So even the Ifa initiation, many things can happen. That is why it is never done by one Bokono or one Babalao. Never. You have minimum two real certified minimum, and they will have one or two assistants for all the stuff, help them for the ceremony. But like as Bokono who master like real Bokono, you need to have minimum two. Because for now, I'm initiated, I have the status of Bokono, which means I can sit down with Bokono and see all the things they are doing. But I'm not doing yet consultation for people and all those stuff. Because when you become Bokono, which means that now you can see and be close to the Bokono. Now, when you want to pursue your evolution, your study, now you become assistant of a real certified Bokono, will be called Ajogbana. And then you will be Ajogbana for years. Many of the Bokono actually have been Ajogbana of their father. Since they were maybe, I don't know, 12 or even 10 years old or 15. So you will be a Jubana for years. And after, there is a special ceremony of coronation, kind of, where they say, okay, you have now the right to do all those consultations and to initiate another people.
Wow.
And this is another initiation that they give you. And there are many other vows because, there are some laws. For example, as a Bokono, you will not do consultations. Some people come to you to say, I have a problem. You make the consultation, you see that the problem is that it is adultery. You cannot tell this guy your wife has done adultery. It's like a Bokono is not supposed to break families. A Bokono is supposed to arrange things. So there are some things that okay, you have some people who I will say learn to become Bokono from the books. They will say, okay, it is this sign, then this is this. Maybe they take the book from their father. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. A real Bokono, you, I don't know. You have something that it called fe. That we call fe in Benin. Fe is the supreme secret knowledge linked to a vodou, let's say. Okay, and that stuff is often confused with sorcery. I mean, this is a big topic. I just want to approach it slightly, and then someone who really embodies, like a real Bokono, let's say it is kind of he's connecting to a Rumila, or he's connected to the outer world. Because a Bokono who has learned in books, I will come, you and I, we will come to him for the same problem, we will have the same Odu. He will give us the same.
The same recipe, yeah.
But a real Bokono, not the Bokono from books. Because now there are many, not the Bokono, a real Bokono, he will tell us different things.
Sure.
Because he sees and he hears. And he connected.
Yeah.
That we cannot see. That is why some people say that a real Bokono is like is friends with the sorcerers, brujeria. That is why people used to say that the Bokonos, that's why people were afraid from them. They say no, like a real Bokono is also, knows them and know where they go, and actually he can go because of course you have to negotiate some things, and so it is because of this kind of power that we call fe. And this power actually is it is where you have the all the power linked to a vodou. And this fe you have in everything. You have the fe of FIFA, but all the fe are linked highly to that, which will be, I not say basic, but things like going to the astral world, going out of your body, being able to, another topic here, right? So so just to come back to it, so you have, you can do the consultation. You have the one hand that you can do half day. You have the whole initiation that make you a Bokono, that you do minimum on 3 days, because it like, and then after those 3 days, and you have some 16 days to wait, and then you go to do the rest, which will be 2 days. This is how it is done in my village.
Okay.
Now, it can be done in a separate way. It depended on the places, on the availability of people, but the most important is the first 3 days or 2 days and a half, where you are really into the temple of the Bokono, and that's with what the initiation. Then for the other, they can say, okay, you can go, and then when you have time, you come back and we will do the closure of all those stuff. And some people can do in 5 days, basically, like they will come the first, as I told you, they can do from Monday to Friday. It depends, but the core stuff is 3 days minimum, and it is not, 3 intense days. 3 intense days, 16 days where you were supposed to be learning the basics. Like normally, like you take more or less one day, each day, to learn the basic of each vodou,
It
or
is
minimum the major vodous.
the,
Minimum, you know the double. Minimum
the
the major you
measures.
have, you see, and then when you come back, you can do the closure. That is why it is 16 days between, basically.
No, it's a process. It's a
Yeah,
process.
it's a process, and from
Yeah.
then you become. It is where the path start actually. Just after.
Yeah, I'm very curious because I want to know uh, where we got this ceremony idea of the hand of Ifa. Receiving
Mm.
the hand of Ifa means you have 3 days going through this
Mhm.
specific process, and you find out about the Orisha, and I haven't found out in the Yoruba tradition, nor now with you. So I'm very curious to know where we got that from.
About the Orishas, you mean?
No, about the three, about yeah, finding out the who your guardian angel is, and about receiving, because my issue
Mm.
is to say it correctly, my issue in the Afro-Cuban tradition is
Mhm.
that we are receiving many things. We are receiving tools like the
Mhm.
ikine, we're receiving the eshu or gun or shosi,
Mhm. Mhm.
but we don't get the instruction. Like we don't
Okay.
get the book to learn how to or what to do with what we're getting. So you
Okay.
go through
Okay.
the initiation, you do the process, and then your godfather says, "Now do your thing."
No, no, this
You
is not.
know,
This is not.
yeah.
I mean, I see what you say. Okay, but I think I don't know. Maybe they say it so that if you show interest yourself, they will show you more.
You
I
know
think,
me. You know
yeah.
me very well. And I am, I really want to learn things.
Okay.
And, I received my hand of Ifa in 1998.
Okay.
I did
Okay.
not learn a single thing until I became initiated, until I crowned Shango.
Django. Okay.
There, my initiation, like, Ifa says, once I initiated myself, no?
Totally.
So since I crowned Shango, I decided discovering the tools and the simple basic things that I should have known once I initiated in Ifa.
Okay. I
You
think
know, there are basic
yeah.
things like for example, like calling the energy of the activating the energy of the water, activating the energy of the yin, the
Mm,
energy, simple things that if you would have issue with you and you put just a drop of water, this energy come and you have the connection.
totally.
These simple things is what we're missing in Cuba.
There are many vodou priests in Benin who are not being happy recently because we are discovering and spreading the real power of Ifa. You know, for real. When you have Ifa, you need nothing else.
Yes, I
Honestly.
agree. Yeah.
Honestly, it's like and actually the fair, then I don't like to say sorcery. I mean, like the high science, like the core power of Ifa. When you know, trust me, you need anything else. Trust me. And okay, but first it's important to know what is the Odu that came when you go to initiation. Your Odu, I can understand why they call it Guardian Angel and all those things, basically. Yeah. Your Odu is actually uh, the star on which you are born. When I'm talking about the star, it is not like a star somewhere in the sky. No, it is like it is your, it is the shining star that you are. See, how to, yeah, it is the your Odu is the destiny, is the solar shining whatever you want. It is the lumina. It is the destiny through which you come to experience this life on earth. This is what is your Odu. Then when you have the information on your on your destiny, like on your star. Let's call it star because your destiny is to shine, you know. So it is like a discovery. It is like if you have your destiny there shining, waiting for you to say, okay, you know, and then you do the initiation to say, hey, okay, here I am. So this is who I am. This is where lies my destiny, or where lies the power to shape my destiny? Where lies the power to be myself? That is why actually your Odu is seen as your guardian angel, because this shining star of yours is linked to your true essence. It's linked to the fact that you are kind of your God part, you know, that you embody. And as long as you are connected to that part, you are expressing the God within you. So once you get to know that, now since we are on physical realm, physical reality here, you need to know, linked to this destiny, they are the elements that are impacting you. And the elements that are impacting you can be of two ways. Whether it is because there is too much, or because there is less. Because some people say, okay, I'm born, you go, they say that, okay, Chango. This does not necessarily mean that you have too much fire energy inside you. Maybe you don't have enough.
Enough, yeah.
And then you need to connect to that energy of Chango to do the balance. Or maybe you have too much, and then you must follow the recommendation linked to Chango to not cause problem to the society. So it is something important. People think, okay, this is my deity, that I'm strong in it. No. This means you need to balance this energy, because this is energy is the one that will be your strong point. You know, so you need to balance that energy. And since everything in life function in two ways, of course, you will have in two polarities basically. Then linked to your Odu in Ifa that you discover at the initiation, they will say, okay, this Odu is highly influences by energy of Chango, by energy of Obatala, by energy of Ochosi. This is actually the link. And normally, when you get initiated and you got the Odu, the Babalao that initiated you, that is why there is never one Babalao. All the Bokono there, they should tell you the how it is not only incantation, because incantation is something just to have effect, you know, but they have to tell you the word of power and that are linked to your Odu. They have to tell you what this Odu, what this destiny, what this shining star that we're discovering, what this shining star is saying. And this shining star will be saying things in all the areas of your life. Up to 16. Let's say 15, and the central ones, the 16th one is the Igba Odu that you might have learned. Some call it the vodou baru, but this is where light actually sometimes it is your some people can mix it sometimes with legba, but it is not totally the same thing actually. Like you need to bring your calabash, like you need to have your main receptacle. So just not to go too far in it, the Bokanons should tell you normally up to 10 or normally 16 not say stories or proverbs or quotes, citation, to say, okay, relating to life, this is what you ought to say. Relating to family, relating to profession, relating to your health, related to your project, related to your longevity, relating to sickness, related to luck. This is what your Odu say. And normally, linked to each of the words, each of the verb of your Odu, there is a sacrifice that you must make to balance this. This is what we call in our tradition Adra. And we say Adra where Ifa means what makes you Ifa is not only knowing the sign. It's when you know the sign and you do the rituals to balance all those fields of your life. This is where. Now, the problem, even in Benin, you will go, you see some Bokono, you say, okay, the sign just come. He will tell you two things to say that's it. Okay. And also, what you should not do will also come from these different words of power. Because it's important to say, some people are afraid to take the Ifa because they say, oh, when you go to Ifa, Ifa forbid you to do. Ifa never forbid. There is no interdiction in Ifa. Why? Because if there was interdiction, if I say something is forbidden by something, it means if I go to the thing, I will all the time have the same interdiction. This is not how it works. Ifa never forbid you to take whatever. Ifa reveals you what you should not take if you want to stay balanced. It is not interdiction from Ifa. And if you look closely, those things, even before going to Ifa, when you were eating them or when you were doing them, it was not good for you. So it's important. Ifa, there is no interdiction. Ifa will not forbid you. Ifa reveals you. And some people say, I go to do consultation on Ifa or my Odu Ifa, they say I should not, I don't know, marry a tall, a tall wife. Ifa never forbid. You will ask Ifa, okay, Ifa, how should I stay? I mean, basically, what is my destiny so that I accomplish myself? He will say, oh, it is this. Means, I mean, I will just make image. Ifa, how should I make to travel from Lyon to Poznan? If I will say, okay, from Lyon to Poznan, it is flight. So you will say, oh, since I don't have money to buy a ticket, this means it is forbidden for me to go to Poznan. No. You can go by car. Sure. It will take more days. It will be more thoughtful. So then you say, but I have a car. Okay, if you have a car, this means you should prepare yourself to have enough fuel, to make your driving license okay, to sleep enough before taking the road. This is how Ifa is not there to forbid, to say you should. And I mean, sorry, I'm getting really involved into it because because I'm kind of I'm from the new generation kind of and. There are some people doing bad to the tradition because they don't have the knowledge.
Yes.
And they feel bullshit. You see what I mean?
It's happening in tradition and in dancing too.
No. Ifa, and they will say, and the people are afraid, no, Ifa will never forbid. Ifa just reveals. And then, of course, when you take and it reveals you, you know the energy, the elemental to which you are linked. And then from then, they will say, okay, this Odu, so you have this Orisha, you have this Orisha, you have this Vodou, you have this Vodou, you have this Vodou. Elegba is almost compulsory. Compulsory. Because Ifa is the language of God. But the language is there. Now you need a messenger.
Yeah, sure.
You see? And then the messenger is Legba.
Yes, Legba. Yep.
That is why they are always connected. And even, Legba, we call Legba Boko Legba. Because for us, Legba is the first Bokono, kind of.
Actually, this is, also in our country, it got misunderstood because Elegua doesn't exist.
No.
The real name is Eshu. Because that's what I learned. There was a ceremony which was called Eshu Ilegua, which was Eshu entering the house or the home, that people, to save words, Eshu ilegua, eshu ilegua, eshu legua, eshu legua, and we stay with ilegua.
Yeah. Which is even the full is a issue alagbara.
Ah, sure.
Alagbara.
Ashe.
Alagbara is the most powerful.
Ashe. Because we never mentioned elegua. I haven't heard a song that mentions elegua. I mean, for sure there are, but it's always eshu la roye, eshu odara, eshu lagbara, eshu la topa, and never elegua.
Yeah,
This is
that's
something
it.
also that we, some of us from the young generation, is trying to let's say educate, to bring to the
Yeah, yeah.
generation in Cuba to start calling our orishas by their ancestral
Terrible.
name, you know.
And it's
So
important, you know. You know, you have for all the vodou, all the so you have okay, people say like again three name, you know. You have the common name because actually they are families. People think that okay, when I say I don't know Rebioso or whatever, it's just one. No, no, no. They are families basically. Like in Zapata, you have many of them. You have many, you know, and basically, so you have the generic name, you have the sacred name. The sacred name is their real name. Like you, if I just shout and say Garcia, come to you, but but if I say Alfredo Garcia, you say, this
yeah,
guy
it's
is
talking to
calling
me.
me,
Yes.
And now you have the secret name that you get only when you have the initiation. And the secret name, it's like so. The more the secret name is the name that activate what they call the some people call it the first name, the primary name. You see what I mean? And if you know the primary name of element, and this is the force, the strongness of some society. One of the most strong society in Benin is called the Asanyi Boko, which are linked to Hossein, actually. So it is a society where you need to learn all the secret of the vegetable plants, animals, and minerals, and how to combine them and they are the most powerful basically because actually, even you to be able to make a receptacle that will be able to channel a photon so that the energy will come in that receptacle, you need to know how to mix the things basically. I mean, you see what I mean? And then I mean, I mean, I'm a bit lost on my demonstration, but when you know the primary name, actually, you will have another effect. You know, it's like for example, one of the basic things that they will teach you is how to go and um and to take a plant. For example, they'll tell you, okay, Alfredo, you know this recipe, take this plant, put it into the water, wait the following days, and that's it. But there is a way to go get the plant. If you come there and you don't know the primary name of the plant, it will not work.
Taking the energy, yeah.
You see? Because when you are about to take the plant, if you call him with his name, the plant will come in a hole. And that is what's happened. Some elders, they don't give all the stuff to the young people because they say, this guy, no, I cannot give it to him yet. So you will see, okay, he used this plant, this plant. You go, you take the same plant, the same recipe, it's
No.
not working. Because you don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, there are basic things, like I mean, just a small, for example, not to go deep inside into to spoil anything, but basically, when you want to take plants for a recipe, basically, a plant for some kind of recipe for elevation or whatever, you have to take the plant which is faced to the side where the sun is to the east, then like the side when the sun is rising up. So if you go and you take the leaves, the plant, the leaves on the other side, you see what I
Taking
mean?
the energy, yes.
So there are those small things actually that when you stay close to the elders, they will start teaching you, they will time showing you, explaining you, And so to come back to the vodou, it's important to know at least, because the secret name of a vodou is when you get initiated to that vodou. But you can participate to a vodou ceremony without being like a real worshiper kind of this vodou, basically. So it's important to know minimum the sacred name, because when you come with your water, with all your beverage, with your gin, and you come and you are about to do the prayer of this vodou, you need to call him. If you don't call him, he will say, "This person does not know me."
That's no, yeah.
Then I'm not responding as I should respond.
Yes, nice.
So,
Well, my brother, we're gonna close it here. I'm looking forward for the second chapter where we're
yeah,
gonna dive deeper into Ifa, because many people don't know what Ifa is. We touched upon a few things, but we want to go deeper
okay.
into for them to understand what Ifa is.
Okay.
So just a question, few questions to finish it. What does essence means to you?
Actually, I mean, it is funny because it is just as I said. I think the answer was already there if people kind of pay attention to what I just said. For me, essence is the primary nature of something. Essence is what it is, that nutshell, it is the grain, it is the core. The essence is the essence of a forest is just in the one pine, you know. The essence of the forest is in the grain. And for me, essence is the real nature of things, the origin of things, basically. And when
Thank
I
you.
say the origin of things, I'm talking about the primary name and the primary nature of things. Because they say what is up there is like what is down there. Means if you know the way to activate the things down there, you will have the answer up there. And down there, what we have in physical is the verb, all those things. So yeah. So when you know the primary principle of everything, of something, knowing the primary principle of something is that you are able actually to manifest that thing. So for me,
Second,
essence is this is what essence is.
do you think that people should practice Ifa?
uh, when it comes to practice and all those things, I think it's specific to. I mean, people have the freedom. Now, my question is, my answer is yes, and why? And I will turn the question. Uh, yes, because Ifa is a practice. It's not a religion.
Ashe.
Ifa is a science.
Ashe.
Ifa is a science. Ifa, it's not because you will go to Ifa, that means you are doing vodou, whatever. That is why I was saying from the beginning. I will talk. I used to talk about tradition. Tradition is something that have been done by ancestors that have been proved to be effective and that we are stating. And that's it. Benin tradition is on three things, totally different. Ifa, vodou, cult of ancestors.
And ancestors.
So you can just stay there. Because Ifa is to know your shining star. I mean, some people like to believe horoscope, for example.
Thank you, my brother. Family, you heard the man. You heard the man. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Very grateful for having you here. As you said, we're getting to the end of 2024. I wish you a lot of blessings, my friend. Health, wealth, prosperity. Iré aiku, iré aye, iré allá, iré omo, iré shegun, iré bobo. Take care.